Okay, hello everyone and welcome back to Injustice 2. In this Injustice 2 video, I'm going to be talking about the game's Legendary Edition, which was released a couple of days ago. Well, I should say the patch was released a couple of days ago. The actual physical release is coming out on the 27th, I think. Just gonna be giving my thoughts on this new Legendary Edition, what it brings to the table, and sort of what I think the future of Injustice 2 might be or where it's headed. Because, I never hid the fact that Injustice 2 was one of my favorite games of last year. It made it onto my top 5 list. I had an absolute blast with the game last year. However, the key phrase there is last year. I found that Injustice 2, even more so than MKXL, had absolutely terrible longevity for a fighting game. Essentially, I played the game really kind of hardcore from its release in May until about December, where I got absolutely dead bored with the game. And from what I've seen and kind of the activity around tournaments and online and even the subreddit have really shown that I think most people kind of had the same idea. I know a lot of people came back for the Ninja Turtles when they were released. I did as well. However, the game at that point just kind of couldn't sustain my interest compared to like Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Street Fighter V, and even Tekken 7. And I thought, personally, that maybe the Legendary Edition will be a good change for the game. It will bring about some changes. There's going to be a patch. Maybe they're going to add a couple of premiere skins and all that. And honestly, I'm pretty disappointed with what they gave us. I really think that NRS is focusing on all the wrong aspects of Injustice 2 with this Legendary Edition, because they are focusing exclusively on the grind. I know Injustice 2 is a grindy game, and I know plenty of people who enjoy it. However, I think the longevity of the game, especially a fighting game, is really not backed up or sustained by single-player content. Here basically what NRS did is gave you a bunch of single-player content to grind out. Characters have now a level cap of 30, so if you spent a ton of time grinding all the characters up to level 20, well, more to grind. There are new legendary multiverses, more to grind. There are new shaders and gear, more for you to grind. It's just grind, grind, grind. And really, again, I know some people enjoy that. However, I think they really should have focused a little bit more on the online aspect rather than the single player content. And don't get me wrong, the new tutorials, the learn mode they added, is one of the best ideas I've seen, one of the best changes for this game, because you now actually have a tool where you can learn not only fighting games and kind of how to play Injustice 2, but also learn the terminology surrounding fighting games, which is kind of a big problem for a lot of people as well. Someone is coming into fighting games, they're not gonna know what the fuck zoning is and plus frames and all that. Injustice 2's new learn mode actually teaches all those concepts, so I gotta give them massive, massive props for that. Well done. However, my biggest disappointment is twofold. I mean, I knew that there was gonna be no new characters. I'm pretty sure that the Legendary Edition is basically confirmation that the game is done in terms of characters. I mean, outside of outright stating it, this is the best confirmation we're gonna get. But they never said with MKXL that there isn't gonna be a Combat Pack 4. There just never was. However, what I'm more disappointed on is the new premiere skin they gave us. Now this is gotta be one of the laziest fucking premiere skins I've ever seen. First of all, it's just Batman. And it's not even a different kind of Batman, it is just simply Bruce Wayne without the suit on. Well, first of all, this model was already in the game. They didn't even have to do anything because he's in the story mode. Again, you just take the existing model, put it on Batman's move list, and that's it. And that is exactly what they did. You look at this premiere skin in action, it looks terrible. He still has the cape animations, like he does the cape swing when he backdashes, he sweeps with the cape. It looks absolutely ridiculous and lazy. I mean, you look at his flying animation is okay because they gave him little wings for between his kind of the arms on his suit. That is okay, but every other aspect of this, you can see in his combo strings where the cape should be and all that, it just looks terribly lazy. He takes the batarangs out of nowhere, he presses nothing on his utility belt, and think about this, they actually kept the fucking cape sounds around. They didn't even take the effort to edit out the cape sounds for a Batman that doesn't have the cape. It is absolutely the laziest premiere skin they've done, and the fact that they're kind of actually charging money for this, sure, you can buy it with source crystals, but in my mind, source crystals are kind of the premium currency of the game. They are charging money for it. It is just terrible. I don't know. If you're thinking about buying this skin, don't, because it is absolutely not worth it. I think they should have just went with something like, I mean, how difficult would it have been to add a different Batman? Like Thomas Wayne, for example. You add him, just change it around a little bit, give him some new voice dialogues, and that's it. But, they didn't do this. They went with the path of least resistance, which I think basically confirms to me and most people that the devs have moved on to MK11, and they just threw something together, fine Injustice 2 Legendary Edition, just so they can claim there is something new, and that's about it. Now, the other big disappointment I had with this is the balance of the game. Basically, during the stream announcing the Legendary Edition features, the devs said that they think the balance of the game is fine. However, I think the balance of the game is absolutely not fine. There are a couple of characters that are extremely, extremely dominant, specifically talking about Black Adam and Firestorm. They just beat everyone. Firestorm has a ridiculous vortex. Black Adam still has insane damage and insane pressure. It's just way too much. While some characters, like I would say even Deathshot at this point, and especially characters like Captain Cold, are 100% unviable in serious online play and in tournaments. Speaking of tournaments, the results of all of this surrounding Injustice can definitely be felt. I mean, you just had to look at Final Round 2018, which was the latest tournament. Injustice 2 was barely even noticed. The stream viewership was extremely low. The entrance numbers were extremely low. Basically, Sonic Fox showed up, he steamrolled everyone and left with the prize money. That's about it. He used an incredibly OP character, Firestorm, and that's about it. Nobody gave a single shit about this game. And that is really unfortunate because I think this game has so much potential. When it gets going, it's really hyped to watch. It has DC superheroes. Really, what I'm saying is the game should have had a lot more sustained interest than this. But NRS didn't even support it with a second season of the Pro Tours. The tournaments are not really being hyped up. I mean, you have games like Dragon Ball FighterZ, Street Fighter V, and Tekken 7, which are completely crushing Injustice 2. And again, it's really sad to see because the game made it to EVO, but I don't know what the numbers are going to be like in EVO. I think the game itself is going to hold out with kind of lower stream viewerships and tournament numbers until MK11 or whatever they're going to call it is eventually released. And that's going to be it. It's really disappointing. I'm more disappointed than kind of really frustrated. Well, actually, I am frustrated, but it's mainly disappointment because I think NRS really handles their fighting games badly in terms of they just throw it out there. Sure, there's support. I'm sure there's going to be one more balance patch, but it seems like they really are kind of the Call of Duty of the FGC, and just throw a game out there. It's very, very well made, has a lot of production value, people buy it, but really it's way too shallow to sustain a consistent audience. I don't know, maybe I'm being a little too negative here, but again, this is coming from someone who truly loves this game and wanted to see it succeed, and I think they're just not supporting it in the right way. So I don't know, that's just kind of my thoughts on this Legendary Edition and kind of the whole deal surrounding the future of Injustice 2. Hopefully the game can make a comeback and we'll get more support. We'll get a new patch and things will get rebalanced. I think that's about the only option where I would think about kind of going back to the game and seriously playing it more. Really, the only character I'm having fun with currently is the Atom because he's so crazy. But that's about it, unfortunately. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Sorry if this was overly negative. What do you guys think about this Legendary Edition for Injustice 2? Do you think the game will kind of get a resurgence with this? Because I honestly am not sure. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. And I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.